Welcome back. I'm hoping to get another quick little video in. I'm still working on Near to Nature's Heart here, and I've done the, I've glued down this pretty center lace on the spine, and I'm happy with how solid that is. I was wondering whether I should stitch it down, and I'm okay with that, especially because it goes around. Now this one, because I wanted to be able to leave this lace a little loose like this on purpose, I did opt to, there's just a light zigzag stitch. I glued it, and then there's a light zigzag stitch there. You can see it on this side. So that's, I'm really happy with that. And I think it helps sort of distract your eye a bit from this very sad looking, it's old. I mean, it's an old girl. I think we talked. I think it could be anywhere up to 1882 or before. So she's an old girl. Now these are her end papers. Obviously I couldn't save these, but the end papers were like this for in the book. So it actually came with an ex libris or libri, however you prefer to pronounce it. I grew up, my teachers at school always pronounced it libris. So I'd like to save this if I can and put it in, put it back in. Here's my papers for the end papers. I love I think these dark greens of the leaves and this particular bird and the lavender. And there's a little bit of dusty lavender here and this lavender and these hydrangea or violets or whatever they are. Yeah, I don't think they're hydrangea. No, maybe they are. I don't know. At first I thought these were peonies, but they're not, because that shape of that bud, these are a kind of rose. Is that like a double cluster rose, they call it? They look really bushy the way a peony does. Anyhow, I'm off topic again. If the little lovable tyrant wakes up, I may have to pause and cut this short. We'll see. So what I need to do first is I want to cut the end papers. Now, I always like them a little bit wider than necessary, so because of that, I'm going to need to use both sides because I don't want these little birdies to be on their side. I could fit two if I did them this way, but it wouldn't be in the right direction. So we're just going to cut these like this. I'm going to cut it this way first. I've already marked it off, so you might be thinking, how do I know how I'm cutting it? And there's pencil lines in it that you can't see. I'm going to incorporate all this pretty paper somewhere else back into the book. So, and then here we go with this. And then we will have our end papers to go back in. And again, you know the drill. You know the routine. So those are ready. You know me, I like to lay them out and see how pretty they're going to look. So there we go. So I can either use that for the front and that for the back. Or I can do it like that. Well, I don't have to decide yet, because what my plan is next is, well, first my plan is to, just that little ridge from running it through my paper cutter. I've got clippers on the mind. I've been looking into animal clippers so that I can do Kirby's hair. I realize I may be overstepping my bounds to presume that as a licensed human hairstylist that I would even begin to know how to groom a dog. But I know how clippers work, and I know scissor and comb skills and moving targets because I've cut children's hair. We'll see. I've signed up for a class on how to groom your own dog's hair. And hopefully maybe I'll be able to groom little Miss Kirby's hair. She's going to need it because she's part Shih Tzu and part Toy Poodle. So she's going to need monthly grooming. And if I can do it, I'm happy to do it. So what I want to do here is, I want this Ex Libris, but I'm thinking maybe I could fussy cut around it and then put it on something like that. So let's see, shall we? And if you hear the door, it could be hubby. He's coming home from work a little bit early. So I'm going to see where I want this. And then I may change my mind and trim a bit more. You know how I work with fussy cutting. I take a bit, take a look, take a bit more, take a look. We'll see. But I think it would be a great little tip of the hat to this journal to be able to at least save the end papers in this way, even though I can't just completely put the end papers back in. We'll see. So I'm going to take that for now. I might want those little bits of bamboo. I'm going to save that. These unusual little flower type things match with these flowers that are on the cover. So if I can even save that and use it somewhere else in the book, I'd like to. So that's my plan. We'll see. My daughter was over this around lunchtime to meet Miss Kirby, as she puts it, to meet her little sister. And oh, it was lovely. She exhausted her out in the backyard. Was that ever nice? Because this little puppy, even though she's only 4 pounds, boy, she's got energy to spare. I think I want to snip this, and then I want to take this down to here, and there. Like that. Hope you're doing well. So far, we've had one accident in the house, and the rest have all been, all pottying has been very successful outside. I would be interested if any of you have successfully used pee pads and outside potty training. I would be very interested if you could leave me a comment down below. All my other dogs that I've had were outdoor dogs, but I know it is possible to train them to go outside and use a paper, a little potty pad, the little blue pads, you know. I just like that option, so that if, you know, in bad weather or in the winter, like I used to worry with Dot in winter ice storm, or if I hadn't shoveled yet and the snow was deeper than she was, it would have been nice if she would have used a little blue pad, but she wouldn't. And so I would like, and I know there's a Canadian singer, Jan Arden. She's got a new puppy now, but she had a little dog for years named Mitty who traveled with her. And Mitty was trained for both. Mitty would use a blue pad, if necessary, because Jan brought her with her on her concert schedule, and Mitty would stay in hotels with her, would fly with her on the plane, and she would happily go on a blue pad, but she would also happily go outside. So I'd like to be able to do both of those things with little Miss Kirby if I can. I just don't hear a lot of people who have successfully done both. When I do a search on Google, I come across people who, yes, they're very happy just using blue pads with their little dogs. And then I have, of course, there's most people that will say, don't do it. And, gee, it just appeals to me. Especially if we ever did find a condo that we liked, it would be nice to, if Kirby was already very happy to go on a blue pad, so that in a condo, if we didn't feel that we could get her outside in time, or didn't want her on the balcony. Okay, yes. I'm liking this. Now I can see how I'm going to have to make a decision on where this ends. And I'm not sure where that'll be. Anyhow, yeah, so if you've successfully had a little dog that was happy to do both, I would love to hear from you. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to save those. I think that's going to go. I'll use them somewhere else. I hope I can get this done before hubby comes in the door, and then there's going to be a lot of happy barking. From someone who'll be glad that he's home. She already knows that I'm the alpha, the rule keeper, and he's the pushover. And I'm okay with that. Oh, come on. Oh, I'll get that later. I hope this is showing up. I hold my breath to find out later if I was in camera or not in the view. All right, so I don't. Oh, it's kind of cracky. I gotta be careful. I know I can glue it in and pat it back into place if I need to. That's always an option with fussy cutting. And usually you can do it quite successfully and it won't even be noticeable. Now I think I'd like part of this circle. So I'm going to take this up like this. And see if that's how I want it. Now here's where I may, so here's what I'm thinking. Let me show you. So if this is this end paper, so we have our text block here, front page is there. If I put this here, I'm thinking that I could still fussy cut some of these leaves and overlap them here, and maybe put a few of these leaves there and just make it a smaller version of this. And I think that would look really nice. I've just got to decide how that's going to work, because I like that round part, but some of it's not working. All right, where'd I put my Where's my scissors? There they are. I don't think that's working. All right, now I'm going to fussy cut some of these leaves. I want these ones. I want to get most of it off. This paper is really fragile, and I'm afraid that if I start bending too much and trying to cut in and out, that it's just going to crack and break. So I'd just rather take the pieces I want and then do the fussy cutting from that little piece. It's looking like rain out there, but the rest of our week looks nice, so I'll take it. There we go. All right, so let me show you what I'm thinking, because I know for sure I'm not going to get this all done in one video. So see how I've cut out those little leaves, and see how I've got these that I've cut off. I'm going to glue them back down over top like this and make it into a collage of itself. So there's going to be some tiny little fussy cutting here, and maybe this. And I gotta remember where that came from. What side? Oh, I know, if I lift it up, I could see it. Where was that? Oh, it must have been under, no? Anyhow, that doesn't matter. I just need to, oh, look at this. I've got bigger ones here. I don't have to worry about, see, I was looking at this and I'm thinking, oh boy, pardon me, have I bit off more than I can chew. These are bigger. I can use some of these bigger leaves here and place them strategically around there, and that's going to look really nice. Yes. All right, let's do it. I still will hopefully use some of those, maybe on just little strategic places here and there. We'll see. So, boy, I'm glad I lifted up the paper and took a look. Now, this paper is so fragile that I think, and I won't be able to do it on camera, I think I'm going to use my aerosol glue. It'll glue it down flatter and smoother. It won't it'll want to pucker if I use water-based glue like a PVA or a tacky glue. It will, if I want to use like a 3-in-1 or a Fabri-Tac, it could bleed through and leave shiny dark marks on it. So I don't want to use that. And if I try and use this, I could actually tear the paper. It's so fragile and cracky. I do think my best bet is to use aerosol glue and place it down using tweezers. So what I would do, I'm just going to tell you how, because I have my glue box in the other room. I have a big box that I use for when I'm spraying aerosol glue so it doesn't go everywhere in my room. And so what I would do is I would hold it with tweezers, give a little spray to that side, and then I'll flip it over and I will lay it down. Say I want to put it there, I would lay it down. After I've used aerosol spray for that, I'll lay that down there with the aerosol spray. And it'll be good. So you know what? I think what I'll do is end this here, because hubby's going to be in the door any second, and that means you know who back there is going to be awake and rightly so, demanding some play. So, take care. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Bye.